Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the EOcafe, where the EO community meet. Just a little reminder, to keep your microphones off unless I specifically ask you to join in the conversation. You please put any questions into the chat, and then we can see them, and I'll ask you to put the question yourself. But if you want to leave videos on, that's always nice to see people and to feel a little bit more engaged in the conversation. So let's get started. It's some time ago. It was in fact our 5th EOcafe that we had Mercator to talk to. Lawrence Cronier joined us, and we talked about the CMEMS service. So now we're up to our 73rd EOcafe, and it seemed a good time to have Mercator back and to get an update from them as to what's going on. So I'm very pleased today to welcome Muriel Lux. Muriel is the Environmental Policy and Major Account Manager at Mercator Ocean International. We hope today to be able to clarify the role of the newly launched thematic hubs, get an update on the Copernicus Marine Service, and look at maybe some opportunities that are coming up to tender for businesses members of EARSC. But before I introduce Mercator, let me just introduce Muriel, and in fact ask Muriel to introduce herself as is customary, because I don't like reading out these little prepared bios. I think it's much nicer if people just talk about themselves and introduce themselves. So Muriel, just say a little bit about your own background and how you're working at Mercator, and then please welcome today.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm very pleased here to represent Mercator and the Copernicus activities for the marine domain. So regarding my background, so I'm an oceanographer, as many people in Mercator Ocean. I hold a PhD in physical oceanography. I've been working in the private sector during many years, for 20 years, I guess, something like that. So I was using the Copernicus Marine Service for studies, for the development of service, and so on. I work at Mercator since 2021. And now I have a transverse role. So I have a scientific background. I'm aware of environmental policies, and what my mission is to foster the interaction, the relationship with the decision maker, the stakeholders, all the people involved in the implementation of marine policies, to better understand their needs, to collect their feedback, and to make our service evolve in the good direction. So at Mercator, I'm in charge of several main activities. The first one, I'm coordinating the so-called Marine Forum, which is a forum, a consultative instance where member state representatives attend 2 meetings a year. We discuss how to improve the knowledge or the service or the data, what are their particular needs in terms of marine product, marine information, ocean intelligence. And I'm also in charge of implementing the Copernicus Coastal and Arctic Hub. So maybe I can say a word about these initiatives. The thematic hubs are an initiative from the European Commission, the DG DFIS, who wanted to have new entries to Copernicus data.
Let me just stop you there, Muriel, because I wanted to come on to sort of some of the services and the things that you're doing as we go on. The idea to start was just to sort of get to know you a little bit better. From your invitation there, maybe some people will provide some feedback for you on services. Let's see.
Sure.
It'd be good if they can. Just a reminder to people that one of the goals we've set ourselves in the EOcafe, because there are so many new people coming into the sector, is to try to lay out and help understand the institutional framework and the institutional landscape. So maybe just to start off with, to just talk a little bit about where Mercator fits. We know it's a very complex picture with the mix of the public bodies playing the role of both sponsors and users, by which I mean they're acting both on supporting the supply side and in our domain, they're very strong users. The industry survey normally shows up a fairly regular 50% of the market being for the public sector. So this is it's a complex. So with the new players coming in from the company's side, from the industry side, and getting to know, it's interesting to try to understand where the different players fit. So Mercator Ocean is an entrusted entity. And if anyone doesn't know what that term means, then please ask us in the chat. But that's a fairly basic term in.
Yes, I should have started there from the beginning. Yes, maybe everybody is not aware of the Copernicus program and so on. So Copernicus is a very big, a huge Earth observation program in which you have 6 big services. You have one service for the marine service, the land service, the atmosphere service, the climate change service, and the emergency service, and the security service, but not forget. Mercator Ocean International is the interested entity to coordinate, implement, and make evolve the Copernicus Marine Service. There is other interested entity for the land service, for the atmosphere service, and the other one, and we interact with them as well. So Mercator, the mission of Mercator within Copernicus Marine is to provide a free and open service to anybody. All the data are made available and free for all the industry sector, for researcher, for anybody who would like to create an added value with this data. So this is a very big system. We aggregate remote sensing observation, in situ observation, and model information that are fed by this satellite observation and in situ observation. So we have a lot of available information and data through the Copernicus service, and all this information are free because we cannot, at the beginning when I started in my private company, to find information to build service for the industry, it was a nightmare because you have to pay for data, and but you cannot find anybody to pay for the service as the amount you have already paid. So it was very complex. So it's a good thing that the basic data are free, so that services can be developed by companies or institution to create the application that are needed by industry or any kind of user.
So as I understand it, Mercator was formed in around 2012 with the goal to become the entrusted entity for Copernicus. The terminology was different at the time, and Mercator was largely, I think, IFREMA and CNRS were the sort of the main sponsors at the time. And a number of the French institutions were backing Mercator Ocean. More recently, in 2017, the decision was taken to open up the capital of Mercator to bring other partners in. And so now as well as the French stakeholders, you have governance, you have stakeholders, shareholders in effect, from Italy, Spain, Norway, and the UK. I don't think I've missed anyone there.
I think it's okay.
And so you're becoming an intergovernmental organisation. And if we
Yes.
have time later, it might be interesting to understand a bit what that means for Mercator. But you're providing the services as you've just described, so I don't go on any further there. You work closely with some of the other entrusted entities, particularly ECMWF now, and you've also become the focus for two new thematic hubs, the Coastal Hub and the Arctic Hub, and that's something we definitely want to come into later. But maybe we can just start off with this core role, the Copernicus entrusted entity for the Marine and Environmental Monitoring Service, CMEMS. And maybe you could just give us a picture of how that is evolving, what's happening to improve, to make the services more available, and to perform that role as the entrusted entity.
Okay. What you have to keep in mind is that we are continuously evolving. We are user-driven, so we are collecting feedback every year. We have a very powerful process to collect feedback, collect needs, and we have also an R&D department to innovate on to improve the product. So we are twice a year with a major one at the end of the year. We have new release, new improvement of product. It can be higher resolution product, new variables, many other things. So we have a roadmap to do that, and this is in a cycle of this user-driven process where we collect the needs and we try to define priorities for the evolution of the service. So we will go on like that. We have this collection of feedback. We want to remain the reference in the marine domain to go on providing users with qualified data. We try to enlarge the panel of users because we do not want to reach only scientists. We want to reach every level of the society, actually. It can be decision maker, but citizen. And for this, we have already created different ways of reaching these people, having some tools to explore the data, some friendly tools to facilitate the user journey in our portal. We have different level of exploration of the information we delivered. But we have tools, we have capacity building, we organize training, we provide material to explore the data and from new users. So we have many, how can I say, I don't know the word in English, dispositif, to support our users better. But yes, what we have to keep in mind is that we evolve taking into account the feedback
the user feedback.
Yeah.
You've, I mean, one thing that I think you've introduced right recently, or is in the process of being introduced, is the Marine Data Store. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, this new Marine Data Store is to improve the performance of the system because the amount of data is increasing drastically, and the way the data are stored impact the exploration of the data. So this new Marine Data Store, I'm not a specialist of the way it is sorted, but you have an exploration in time and in space that is divided in a way that it is optimized. So this is first. And for the exploration, you don't have to open a full file to access one point of data. You have a direct access to the point and it's very faster.
Okay, you also have the Ocean Climate Portal, which I think is also fairly new.
Yeah.
And maybe you can just say a few words about that, but then also how do these fit with Wikio and the DIAS, the data access sort of system for Copernicus?
Okay, so maybe I can start first with Wikio just to make the difference between the Copernicus Marine Service and Wikio. Wikio is we are a partner of a consortium with EUMETSAT and ECMWF to create Wikio, and Wikio is a multi-service portal, but the data you have for the marine service is the same, and you have the atmosphere data. So it's a portal where you can find the data from all Copernicus service, and they are sorted out according to the service. So you have a single access point to access, download the data. So it is quite powerful. But what I can say is that it's not a duplication of the existing data portals. The Wikio is directly linked to the Marine Data Store or the data lake from ECMWF. So when a Wikio user is asking for data, the request go to the main service and take the data there. So this is so Wikio is another way to support better the user, because we have been asked by the user, yes, but we need to go to several platforms to access this data and this data, so it's a nightmare when you want to download. So this is to simplify the process of the users. So it was Wikio is existing now for long. And the thematic hub.
Yeah, I think most people here will be familiar with the DIAS and the data hub, the data and information access service that's now being sort of built on the DIAS. So I mean, if anyone has any specific question around the data access, then please put it into the chat. We can come back to that. But one other thing I noted, I wanted just to sort of take into account for the CMEMS evolution of the expansion missions. Can you explain a little about the importance of the expansion missions to the CMEMS service and what Mercator is doing?
Yeah, so I'm not an expert in everything in no. Copernicus Marine, but what my understanding of that is the same. The user are requesting a lot of information, and all these new missions have been built on the user needs as well. So, and depending on what these missions are looking at, you define in which service that they could be the most appropriate to be provided to the users. So for us, there is a continuous evolution of a new mission in integrating the service, and it's necessary to make it up to date.
Yes, again, I don't want to go too far into that today. It's something that, again, that we can talk about. Maybe we should have an EOcafe around the expansion missions and what they will provide. But the point I wanted just to sort of emphasize there, the expansion missions are built on sort of needs coming from the environment, and channeled through Mercator Ocean and the other entrusted entities to say, this is what we would need to improve the service in the future, according to the user needs that we're hearing about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
yeah, for example, excuse me. For example, in the past, I was working about with currents, ocean currents, but you have no satellite measuring directly ocean currents. You have altimetry and you derive current. You have many ways to compute currents, but you haven't a measurement of current. So this is a need to have a direct measurement of a particular parameter from the users to validate the model or to calibrate anything for the service.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So we touched on it earlier, but one of the new features in the landscape are the thematic hubs, which have been sort of introduced and as a way of getting access to data which is more particularly for a specific application. Mercator is in charge of the coastal hub and the Arctic hub. Tell us a little bit about those, what they mean, and what they will provide.
Oh, okay. So these thematic hubs are a proof of concept at the moment. So effectively, Mercator Ocean is the entrusted entity for the Arctic and the coastal one, and ECMWF is in charge of the health hub and the energy hub. For the moment, there is only four of them, but there is plan to build other hubs. These thematic hubs are not new data. It's a kind of gentle organizer of the existing data. When users go through the different portal, even in Wikio, there is so many information, many products, many data sets that sometimes they are lost. If you are an expert, maybe you're not lost, but even if when you are an expert, it's difficult sometimes to know. So the idea of the thematic hubs was to select reduced portfolio of data regarding particular application or topics or policies. So for coastal region, the selection of data were focused on having the higher resolution, the better level of information regarding the process of the coastal zone and so on. For the Arctic, the projects that are dedicated to the Arctic, the same. So, but for the moment, there is no data set built for the thematic hubs. They are only a subset of the existing Copernicus product. And our thematic hubs for coastal and Arctic, they are based on Wikio. They take their subset of product and data from Wikio, which include already all the shopping center for Copernicus. So the idea was to create again a new entry point. Finally, it's as if you have a big shopping center, but you have several entries, and maybe the gallery is a bit different when you enter the shopping center this way or this way, depending on what you are looking for. So the idea of multiplicating this entry point is just to facilitate the visit of the Copernicus data. So, and in these thematic hubs, you have also some use case to showcase how the products are used and so on.
Okay. Are they only sitting on Wikio, or are they also sitting on the CDS?
Wikio.
For my information, because I don't know what the situation is there. It suddenly struck me.
For the moment, they are based on Wikio. Wikio is the DIAS that have been built by EUMETSAT, ECMWF, and Mercator. Everything we have is built on this at the moment. But there were many DIAS at what moment. Now I know that there is one replacing 4 of them on the ESA side. But I think it's another entry point, because this just will be you have Amazon. Amazon is another GIS, but you have no service. You have only the data in some directories. So you have several entry points, and each entry point is designed with an objective to support better a range of users, or so there is a different philosophy, I would say.
Okay. If I see if all parties is digging in the same direction, if there's anybody from the Data and Information Access Service who's with us, who can sort of shed a little bit more light on that, that would be interesting to know further. Maybe we'll come back to it. The third topic that I had, and then we should come on to sort of the opportunities that you're wanting to lay out today, is the digital twin of the ocean. There's a lot of interest in digital twins at the moment, and the different programs going on, but specifically you're working on the digital twin of the ocean, which would seem logical for Mercator to be doing. Tell us a bit about that and how that's shaping up.
Okay. So actually, at this moment, we have 2 very big projects, but could be now maybe called a program. We have been interested by the European Commission to build the digital twin of the ocean, for the European digital twin of the ocean. And we have 2 projects. One is for the infrastructure of this digital twin. Infrastructure means the box where all the information coming from everywhere will go. And we have the second big project, which is the Edito Model Lab, in which we develop what-if scenarios. We develop how can I say? It's not a structure, it's a sandbox where all the users can play with the data, but go further with the data. They can have what-if scenarios, or play with the AI to go further, to have some projection, or to simply to ask a simple question. And to have an answer. This DTO, what we expect from this DTO is it's a huge, and it will take several years to be built. What we expect is that it will serve the scientific community, but it will serve any people who just want to have an ocean intelligence, to have information about the ocean without being an expert. So there is a lot of levels in this DTO, and we will have in June a demonstration to the European Commission with the first case study. I don't know how they call it, the kind of demonstration to showcase the powerfulness of this new platform. I don't know if it's only a platform, or it's a huge universe.
No, it's a massive task, and will take many years, decades to come to fruition. But it's very interesting to see the evolution and the steps along the way.
And I just wanted to say that this DTO is like a bit like a Wikio, but maybe better. It will provide to the users capacity, machine resource. So the user won't need to download the data. They could play with the data in the DTO.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I mean, maybe there was some more questions about that, but we're pushing on, and I know we just coming to the sort of the core point that you wanted to discuss today, which was sort of upcoming tenders that you'll be releasing, where you're looking for good responses, and of course companies are interested to prepare good proposals. So tell us a little bit about what's planned and what's coming up.
Okay, so within the context of Copernicus Marine Service, we have a budget to engage users, new users or existing users, to use the data to foster the Copernicus uptake. So the idea is that we provide funding in the particular topics to support user in the development of service application, and usually we have we define, but I have prepared a slide where everything is. I have only one, if I may.
Yeah, please.
It will
Do
be
we have
easy.
it, or will you project it?
I have it.
Okay.
I can share my screen, maybe.
I think so. I think you should have the rights.
Yes. Voilà.
Yeah, looks like it's coming. Yeah, we've got it. We see it.
Okay. So what we have put here is the main call for tender we are about to launch. Let me. Sorry, I don't see you anymore, so I have to close some windows.
That's okay. I see a small U, but that's fine. The key thing is your slide.
Okay, it's okay. So let's start from the beginning. So I work in the communication and market development service. So it means that we try to engage more users. This is the mission, the main mission of our department, and we collect also the feedback and the needs. So we have here three main call for tender. On the top, we have a call for tender regarding the coastal and the Arctic hubs. We would like to engage users to submit application or the development of a service or anything regarding the Arctic or the coastal, a downstream application. And we will select 6 projects of 100 kilo euros each. So it will be published, I guess, this month. The plan is to publish the call for tender in February, before the end of the month, I guess. And then the tender will have maybe one month to submit their proposal. So the idea is that the downstream service must be linked to coastal or Arctic topics, and it should be aligned with the different themes that are in priority: safety, climate change for the Arctic, or for the coastal zone can be coastal modeling, marine policy, water quality, many topics. So the publication will describe this better. And the condition is that this downstream application must use Copernicus product, at least one from the Marine Service and another one from another Copernicus service, so that it fulfills the requirement of having a use case inter-service. We have another call for tender that will be published maybe in May or April or May, maybe May or June. I don't remember. Tina, maybe my colleague Tina could answer in the chat the target, the planned date. This is something we have regularly, some user engagement call. So this one is dedicated to Copernicus Marine, not the hubs. It will have user will have a 2 million euros envelope, and we will select 15 projects of 150 kilo euros each. And the idea is to develop a downstream application or to valorize or improve existing application because you can start from scratch. We are conscious of that, and demonstrate the contribution to the implementation of EU policies and directives. So there is a particular focus on marine coastal monitoring activities, can be modeling. And as we discussed within the Marine Forum with this member state representative, we think that since some countries do not have coastal modeling capacities or need help to develop, we will support transnational activities as well. It could be a country that helps another one. But the idea is that the downstream application supports member state or institutional authority to advance in the implementation of policies or monitoring the environment.
So the transnational, sorry, carry on.
No.
The transnational component is not an obligation. It's
No.
It's accepted.
It's accepted.
Yeah, it must be built on the Copernicus Marine Service plus one other service. So specific products coming from those services.
No, for the coastal hub,
No.
yes. But for this one, the yellow one, it's only, but it's
Only
not
marine.
to use external data. You can use external data, but the main focus is that he must use Copernicus marine data.
The marine service, okay.
Yes, it can be possible for, of course.
And it should be aimed at supporting policy, some facet of policy, whether it's implementation or design or monitoring, policing, at European or national level, or either?
Usually, the last call for tender, we were really focused on national because we wanted the user to propose coastal downstream service. So because it is coastal, proposing something coastal at global scale or at very big scale, I don't know. There is an idea of downscaling the Copernicus Marine Service towards the, but it can be not national but coastal, yeah. But international, maybe yes, if you are in the Ligurian Sea, for example, so you have a bit of France and a bit of Italy, it's okay, but you cannot, I'm not sure, but we haven't written completely the call for tender, but we do not plan to have something around all the Mediterranean Sea, for example.
No, okay. But not just the Mediterranean, but other coastlines in Europe. Outside Europe, or it's specifically aimed at European policy?
European policy is the main points, because this is the priority for the moment, and I'm pretty sure that the candidates must be European. I guess.
Okay. So again, if you've got questions about these, please do put them into the chat. I see the Mercator are putting information in the chat, so hopefully everyone's following that.
And maybe I could say a word about the third one is a bit different. The
oh, sure, yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the purple one is two smaller contracts we would like to select. But what we look for here is to have a kind of organization that is a network or a system of other organizations. We want something with a higher level to have, as it is written here, we would like to have something more general, to have an analysis of stakeholder, something a bit not local, not national, but having something more maybe I'm not so clear for this one. I'm not really involved in this one.
So this seems to be more a study rather than definition of services or products, and looking at improving the reach of the marine services. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So again, if you've got any questions, please do follow up in the chat. Perhaps we can go back to the
maybe I can stop.
Stop sharing. Yeah. And Wolfhard, you were first, and you're following some lines that I was also developing. So please come and join us.
Yeah, thank you, Geoff, for allowing me in. I think it's an issue that we're all very familiar with, and has been around for quite a while, since already GMES, precursor of Copernicus, was developed. That a lot of the platforms, a lot of the initiatives that we have in place now to develop these platforms, and then platforms themselves, also data portals, thematic hubs, they all appear to the outside user who is not in on it all the time as being rather fragmented. Very often you find also not this, should I say, not the same look and feel. And that's what I was getting towards. Is there a possibility maybe through one of the DGs at the European Commission to take that as a task, to, I shouldn't say unify that. I'm not really in favor of big monolithic blocks of technology or service, but to give it a similar look and feel. And then also, more importantly, to coordinate all these initiatives so that they really fit together, that we create a network of hubs. I think this would be a big improvement also for the outside world. For people who are not do not know too much about Copernicus and how to use it, especially with public entity users. Walk around Germany, for instance, and try to find out who is using Copernicus with municipal or provincial governments. Very few, because they don't know, and it's all too complicated, or it looks very complicated. So that's my issue.
If I understood well your remark about the look and feel of all this portal, this is not the case for the thematic hubs, since the look and feel have been imposed by the European Commission. And I remember the first version of these thematic hubs were a bit different in each of the interested entities, and they asked us to modify so that we have exactly the same look and feel for the main page and for the other page. So now for the thematic hubs, it's done. The way when you access the page, you have the same look and feel, and the menu bar and so on.
Okay.
But after that,
sorry.
Sorry. No.
What about the technical integration and building things on the same basic common platform to make it definitely interoperable, also for the user to use it more easily? That's the other aspect of my question.
This is what we try to do in Wikio, because in Wikio we have access to all the data from, excuse me, from all the Copernicus service. But for the moment, the land service and the marine service almost all the product for the marine service, all the products are visualizable from the viewer. From the land service, most of the products are visualizable, but maybe two-thirds of them. And regarding the atmosphere and climate change, maybe only one for the moment is visualizable. So you can open it in the viewer to download, to subset, to select the variable you want and so on for the download. But you cannot at the moment visualize and superimpose with other layers from the other service. But this is a task, an ongoing task on the ECMWF side to improve this. But there are so many data sets that they have to work a lot to allow this. But I think that being able to explore the data set on the single viewer, this is the way to go, because I've done some view when I had the land use, land cover for the coastal zone, and then the chlorophyll for the coastal zone in the marine side. And when you have this both information on the same map, this is what the user wants. So I think that we are progressing slowly, but we are progressing towards this objective, yes.
Are the different access points, I mentioned also, as I say several times already, the Data Information Access Service, are they aimed at different users? So they're sort of providing the data in a form for different users to find easy to access? Finally, now when we have many meetings about interoperability, standards, convention for the name of variables and so on, I think there is a will in every service to simplify or to be compliant with other. So I think this interoperability is in the heart of the what we try to do with all this data management, impose metadata to clarify everything. I agree with you fundamentally, Wolfhard, that I think it is still very confusing, and that there needs to be some clarity brought into what's the best way for different user communities, different levels of expert to access data. Of course, there are many companies out there who will be perfectly happy to help with that, and maybe that will be a role.
What I think regarding the access to the data, to facilitate the user journey, in the marine service, what we provide, they can manually download the data saying latitude, longitude, this variable and so on. But they can also ask for an API request. This is a kind of code line. They say the typical code line. They can have this code line in their processing chain, and this is done automatically afterwards. So what we try to do is to go further in this API connection of the user, so that they haven't each morning to download the data they need. The idea is to make this process automatic for the processing of the system.
I don't know if that's partly behind the question that Aurélien has, but Aurélien Carbonnier, perhaps you want to come in and sort of explain your question a little bit.
Yes, hello everybody, and thanks Muriel for your presentation. No, I was just wondering if there an official Mercator document which can present on a regular basis the results of your consultation regarding user needs, because you have explained that you adapt to user needs, and so I was wondering if there is such a useful document.
Okay, we write an annual report regarding the user needs for the European Commission. What I have to check is if this document is public, but maybe yes. I know that we provide this document to our champion users because we have a champion user advisory group in which we have 10 or 12 persons that are our champion users, and we meet them regularly to collect their feedback, to have some working group with them. And on the basis of their needs, we also write this in the report, and we have provided the report to them. But I will ask what is available for. But I encourage you to. Your question is to know what are the requirements, or have you your own requirements?
Yes, exactly. It's like well, at least to get a sense or a feeling of what will be really the future needs of users in the future, so that everyone can adapt. Us as a French national agency or spatial agency, and so on. It's just to be
Okay.
evolved in parallel.
I will ask if this requirement document can be shared. Yes, sure.
Yes, I know that there are meetings at the Commission level. Probably you are involved in regular meetings, but I don't know if those documents are public. So that's it's probably at this level confidential. But
I think if people depends on the requirements for evolving, maybe it should be nice that it is shared. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, Stefan is you put a comment in the chat disagreeing with me, so come in and explain your viewpoint.
Hello, I'm Stefan.
And I'm just going to put my light on so I don't disappear in the dark.
I'm Stefan Urovich from the EU Space Support Office, which replaced the Copernicus Support Office in last September. And I would indeed respectfully disagree for once with my friend Geoff. It's perfectly clear. The DS are dead. Long live the DS. There are no DS anymore. There are 2 access points funded by the European Commission. One has a focus on service data, data from the Copernicus services, and includes certain Sentinel data sets, which are kind of related to those products or can be combined with the data and information from these service products, and that's WIKEO. And there's the Copernicus data ecosystem, which is very clearly focused on access to Sentinel data, all the Sentinel data, and may in the future include a few specific service data sets, such, for instance, land use, land change data, which is easily combinable, and the applications are that's very, very clear. There is no lack of clarity on that. Maybe it's not being communicated, but it's documented, it's written on the website, and that's the message that we send to all the users that contact the EU Space Support Office, asking basically which, for some users, they can use one or the other. It's a matter of, I would say, of tastes. Others will naturally go to one or the other, depending on their priorities.
Well, I was referring to the data access service as being the heritage of the DS activity. But it still seems to me that a user, do they go to one of those? Are they directed towards a thematic hub? Where are they going to go and look for their data?
The thematic hubs, apart from different ways of discovering the data, and that's a reflection that we made at the Copernicus Support Office 6 or 7 years back, was that if you're in charge, if you're a company developing renewable energy farms, You don't want to go to 3 or 4 different websites, the land monitoring service for your land impact study, to the marine for currents, to CAMS for atmosphere, for UV and particles that could impact the efficiency of your solar panels, and then to the climate change service to have long-term trend. And you don't want to see 3 different salespeople coming to you trying to sell their data set. It makes sense to kind of put everything on one heading, because the user doesn't care which service is making the data, they want the data.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think from that standpoint, it's not adding a layer of complexity. On the contrary, it is providing industry verticals or thematic areas, or even geographic areas, in the case of the Arctic Hub, with a one-stop shop where they can find most everything that Copernicus produces in their area of interest.
Okay, something to perhaps pursue in the future. For today, let's give Helga a chance just to pose the question that he's put into the chat, and then we'll close the formal part, or this part of the meeting. Helga.
Yeah, okay. Thanks first at all for this nice and really extensive explanation again about the Copernicus services and also about the WIKIO platform. So I'm from a tiny company called Plan Blue. We're in monitoring the seafloor and trying to get some new technology ahead to monitor seafloor and create digital proof of, for example, also satellite data. And for us, it's always interesting to get an easy access to the data in an automated way. That's something you also emphasize, that it's not really feasible to every morning go somewhere and download data manually. That just doesn't work. So for us, it's really it's nice to have a portal like WIKIO, where you have a nice user interface and can quickly have a look at different data sets. But the more relevant thing is, how can we integrate that in our processes? And we have, for example, going on scanning of seafloor with hyperspectral cameras, with RGB cameras, doing AI analysis on that. And if we want to combine that data with Sentinel data, we need some API towards a service where we can get exactly the data for that geographical region where we have scanned something, to make it an integrated thing. So a nice user interface portal like WIKIO, it has its use for sure, but the real value for us would be to really have access to the APIs which provide direct access to that data. And for me, the question is there some one-stop website where I can just get an overview? These are the API services. They provide these kind of data sets, and this is the documentation how to use them. That would be really, really valuable for us.
Yes, regarding the APIs and so on, what I would suggest is that WIKIO, as the Copernicus Marine Service, have powerful user support. If you contact the user support saying, I would like to automatically download this product with this frequency or this, they will, within 1 day, maybe less, they will provide you the information you need and the support to do so. Regarding, if I understood well, the fact that you have your own data and you would like to compare to the data we have without having to download everything at your place. I don't have in mind the timeline, but what we have in mind in the Copernicus Marine Service for our viewer is to allow the users to upload external data within the viewer. This is for Copernicus Marine. I'm not sure this is so near for the Wikio viewer, which is a bit late compared to the Copernicus Marine one. But this is something we have in mind that, for example, for maritime spatial planning, it's the same. User will want to have socioeconomic data in the same time they have marine information. So we have this in mind. So I don't remember exactly the timeline for the improvement in the viewer of Copernicus Marine, but I will ask. And within Wikio, I'm pretty sure that it will follow the same way.
Okay, thank you very much.
So Yuri de la Mar has just put a link into the chat that you may wish to follow, and we can carry on, have continue that discussion shortly if you wish. But at this point, I'd like to sort of close the formal part of this this EOcafe, which means that shortly we turn off the recording, and anyone who wants to stay and have a chat is very welcome to. Muriel, thank you very much for being with us, for explaining about these new opportunities and helping to clarify a little bit where people can go to get data and to bring forth some questions that maybe will help in that. I have to remind you, or remind all the companies on here, please do respond to the industry survey. It is a very important data set that is used by ourselves, is used by ESA, and used by the Commission as well as other stakeholders. So please, it's very important that we get data from the companies. So please go, and it doesn't take very long to fill in, and any data you provide is useful. By which I mean we want accurate data, not that it's rubbish data, but that if you provide some of the factors, that's already very useful. In 2 weeks' time, the next EOcafe, we'll be looking again. We get a lot of, in fact, coming from the industry survey as well, a lot of companies reporting the difficulty in getting new recruits and getting new people coming in and retaining talent in the business. So we're coming back to that as a subject in 2 weeks' time, and hopefully see many of you here then. So thank you again, Muriel. Thank you everyone for being with us. We'll now turn off the recording.